This video is for the part of my audience that considers themselves pretty okay at the game. Maybe they have their main and some other characters they play in Elite Smash. Maybe they're the best out of all their friends, but whenever they try to compete in a real tournament, they get smoked or maybe win a few sets, but never really feel close to winning the whole thing. They know they should be improving, but they're just not seeing much improvement. If this is you, there's a pretty ass cheeks habit you might have, and coming from personal experience, I don't think you'll be able to comfortably stop calling yourself a scrub until you fix it. If you, I don't know, use your double jump instantly when you get sent off stage, that's a bad habit, but at least when you're on stage you can just not think about that. If you spam smash attacks when you're desperate for a KO, that's a really bad habit, but at least you can play the game normally whenever you're not looking for the kill. This bad habit though messes up everything you do in a match, in advantage state, in disadvantage, in neutral. If you have this habit, it's gonna slow down your progress in this game so much, and feeling like you're not improving when you're putting in a lot of effort sucks a lot of balls. So here it is. Overextending, by its simplest definition, is when you're in your advantage state and you get a little greedy trying to extend your advantage by, I don't know, continuing your combo when you know it's not true anymore, trying to get a good finisher, or continuing a juggle, going after an edge guard, but doing it in an overly risky way that ends up coming back to you. Like maybe you missed the edge guard, or they air dodge out of your combo because you went for something that wasn't true. Anything can happen really, but basically you get a little greedy and it ends up with you losing your advantage. Nice. There's nothing necessarily wrong with going for risky plays, but we call it overextending when you do it and it goes wrong. I like to extend this definition to things outside your advantage state. Like, I'm not sure if I'm saying something new or if everybody sees it this way or if I'm just gonna get corrected for this, but overextending sounds a lot like just being greedy, so I like to think of something like always using the same landing option like fast fall air dodge, or landing with aerials to get out of juggles and getting caught for it as a form of overextending, or doing the classic scrub double jump to get back to the stage as quick as possible as a form of it too, except of course when overextending in advantage state means trying to get a little more out of an interaction. Overextending in disadvantage would mean trying to get out early and reset to neutral by taking miscalculated risky strategies to do it. And I guess doing it in neutral would be something like committing hard to a call out and getting punished for it, or using a risky unsafe combo starter and getting caught. So there's two ways to look at it. Either you see overextending as a habit exclusively to advantage, because extending implies you have something to extend, and you don't really have anything well in disadvantage. So, I mean, what is there to extend, right? Actually, wait, that makes a lot of sense. Hold on. Alright, never mind. This video isn't just gonna be about overextending, it'll be about overextending and, I don't know, being greedy, overcommitting. They're pretty much the same thing though, you know what I mean. Overextending is basically being greedy in advantage, and the other stuff is just being greedy outside of advantage, whatever. I'll just, whatever, I just want to make sure I get the terminology right. Overextending in advantage should be an easy habit to fix because it's very clear when you do it. One of the most common scenarios where you'll end up losing your advantage by doing this is while edgeguarding. It's super easy to get greedy and try to catch a recovery and end the stock when you're probably better off settling for a ledge trap or scouting their recovery and remembering what their favorite options are. Or if you really want to go off stage, you can go for a safe edge guard option, like a big safe quick move or a projectile or whatever Joker's gun is, because you can end up at a pretty bad spot if you miss a traditional jump off and hit with an aerial edge guard. Even if this run off fair here is based on a read and you feel like your opponent is gonna go low, if you do it super early, it doesn't matter if you have the read or not, since they can just react to it, right? And now you're the one making it back to the stage against this ass Samus who got a free path back to the fun side of the ledge trap game. Not to say you should never edgeguard unless you're confident about how it's gonna go down. The characters I play actually rely on edgeguards a lot, so I want to do that a lot. But that also means my characters have safe ways to do it. Just make sure that when you're leaving the stage, you're at least thinking about where your opponent is and their position. This isn't the only example of overextending while edgeguarding, because if you want a single aerial to be your edgeguard, that might be a form of being greedy, because you don't always need your edgeguard to kill right away for you to have been successful. For example, if you take away your opponent's double jump, your game becomes a lot easier, because in most cases that means they can only recover low, making them a lot easier to deal with. There's a lot to think about when edgeguarding. I don't want to make this part of the video longer than it needs to be and start rambling about edgeguarding when this video is about something else, but just remember there's always a lot of things you can do to continue being in advantage state when you send your opponent off stage. You as the edgeguarder will always have a lot more options than them, so just be patient and use your big brain to focus on what actually rewards you the most. Sometimes it'll be a single offstage attack for the kill, sometimes it'll be multiple little edge guards, or just a projectile from ledge. All of these work, just make sure you think about what you want and what the risk is before you do it. The other classic advantage state overextending habit is during combos. You can have fun with your true combos all you like, but eventually the combo has to end and your opponent will most likely be DIing it out. And when it starts to be untrue, your opponent is going to start using their air dodge or their combo breaker if they have one, and if you're using a big finisher or a laggy extension attention, they could turn the tables on you. So with your main, you probably already know after which attack your strings start to get loose. So next time you're doing your classic advantage state combos, try waiting for an air dodge or whatever escape option they might have, punish that and keep going. Or scout what they do and save that knowledge for next time. Obviously easier said than done, there are some pretty insane combo breakers out there, but just like with edge guarding, you still have a lot more options than your opponent does if they're up in the air and you're below them. So take note on what they do to escape. Maybe they use an aggressive option like land with an aerial, or maybe they like to go to ledge. A lot of the times they'll just successfully get away and reset to neutral. It is what it is. Your advantage state won't always last forever. But the more you pay attention, the better your odds will be at making your advantage state interaction last more and more in the future. Just remember they can adapt to you too, so adapt to that. Smash is basically a puzzle game. Another form of overextending while comboing is committing to reads or callouts when you're not even sure if they're gonna work, like charging a smash attack at ledge for no reason other than they might roll. Or for example, I love using down tilt to down smash to close out stocks with Lucina, and something I love more is jab blocking with it so I can finish a stock earlier with F smash. But some people are just really good at teching it, so sometimes I just settle for down smash or try to react to or read whatever get up option they choose. The greedy thing to do here would be to keep attempting jab blocks because they give me the best reward, but why do that if I already know they're gonna tech it? And then they remember I cut their roll in and start tech rolling out because it makes down smash harder to land, so I try to punish the rollout, except they rolled in as a mix-up. This goes on forever. The point is, no option works 100% of the time, so if you see that someone got out of your combo, good for them, cool, but they are still at a disadvantage, so you're still at a good spot unless you got greedy and overextended. So, you know, don't do it. Wait for the get up option. Wait for the air dodge. There's nothing wrong with scouting. Everybody texts Joker Nair at low percents. I down tilt into up smash is basically a true combo online. Alright, so like I mentioned in this video's intro, I can technically call this overextending because I have to be thorough and I have to make sure I get the terminology right. But getting greedy and overextending are basically cousins. They pretty much mean the same thing, but advantage state. You saw the intro, you know what I mean. Let's move on. In neutral, maybe you're down to stock and you need big damage to even it out. Maybe you're fighting Oswald the Mega Man and you really want to punch this young boy in the face. Whatever the reason may be, just charging a smash attack to call out an option or using a risky unsafe combo starter without having scouted your opponent's habits beforehand can put you in a rough spot. Neutral is a huge part of Smash. I can't explain it within a video that's not entirely dedicated to it. It has to be its own upload, so leave a comment down below if you want me to make a video about that, because like I said with edge guarding, if I start rambling about it, I will actually be unable to stop. I'm a professional at accidentally changing the topic of the thing I want to talk about, and this video is about this thing, not that thing. But in a nutshell, just make sure you're not spamming unsafe options, look up what your character's best neutral tools are, take the effort to actually put them into your playstyle, make a habit out of them. They will most likely be quick moves, or projectiles, or combo starters. Remember what they are, use them, and don't mess up before your opponent does. That's basically what neutral is, don't get hit. Again, not to say you should never go for risky, unsafe options, even if they will reward you nicely. If you want to gamble, gamble away, because at some point you'll have to if you feel like the situation calls for it. But make sure you know what's at stake in terms of stocks, or percents, or characters. Like whiffing something on Ganondorf is gonna be super different to whiffing something on Steve. Missing a smash attack, call out, or an uppy out of shield at 100% on your last stock is gonna affect the game way differently than missing it at the start of the game, right? Just think before you do it and make sure your risky options were at least worth a shot in the end. This section is going to be the shortest in the video probably, but you could say that getting greedy while at disadvantage is the worst place to do it in, because think about it, do you want to be this guy? You don't want to be this guy. This might be big news to some of you, but advantage state, good. Your opponent has the best odds at taking a stock while in advantage state, so naturally they'll want to remain in advantage for as long as possible and watch their odds increase as your percentage goes up. This game has a lot of good options to escape disadvantage. Obviously it depends a lot on your character, but universally we all have the fast fall air dodge, retreat to ledge if you're fighting a really good juggler, use a stall and fall downer, air dodge out of combo or challenge it with an attack. Some characters have really good combo breakers like Yoshi's double jump or his nair, Martha and Lucina's up B. There are really a lot of things you can do to get out of disadvantage. The problem is, with a lot of good options, it's easy to marry yourself to one. Buffered air dodges are a plague among scrubs in Smash Bros. It's so easy to catch these, so just make sure you mix these up. Because having your escape option be successfully predicted is exactly what I said a few minutes ago when I was talking about how to continue your own advantage state. Getting called out for this can cost you so much. Some more examples of greed and disadvantage as a quick lightning round here are the classic scrub double jump, landing with high risk, high reward aerial side of juggles, taking the same recovery path back to the stage even if you think it's safe, or using the same get up options even supposing your opponent hasn't caught on to them yet, because nothing works 100% of the time, right? Alright, so I get that some of you might have gotten the impression that I'm telling you to play lame and never go for any cool high risk, high reward plays. Lucina main moment, okay, alright.
Very gorgeous to me.
This is a little hard to explain because I don't want to say that risky options can be optimal. They totally can, especially considering that this game is played by humans who make mistakes and leave themselves open every now and then, right? A lot of the time, getting the flashy clip with the unsafe combo starter is the way to take the game. There will obviously be situations where epic hype shit happens, but for the general interactions of the game where nobody is getting clipped and uploaded to Twitter, you generally want to play it safe because it generally gives you the better, more consistent odds at winning. But I mean, the context of the match is very important. Maybe you need this Arsa and downer into up smash now or else you lose, I get that. But are you really gonna land that downer after spamming aerials on your opponent's shield all game? It's just gonna get blocked, homie. Think before you dare. Go for a tomahawk grab or something, or mix up your landing. Think before you dare. And like, I know this video's name is gonna be something like the one habit keeping you from improving at Smash or whatever. And like, okay, you might have more habits, like maybe you roll in a lot, or maybe you always do neutral get up at ledge or something, so I mean, fix those habits as well, right? But I feel like overextending slash greed is the root to so many different bad habits. And calling yourself out for being greedy is gonna do so much for you in many little things like what you do in ledge, in juggles, landing on your opponent, and all the stuff I mentioned before. There are so many scrub habits connected to overextending, it's crazy, so don't do it, yo! Outro. Also, learning to adapt is just as important now that I think about it, so maybe I'll do a part 2 and talk about adapting.